It needs to be fun. It needs to be something that entices our team to show up, because we do not make it required. We make attendance optional. We don't demand it. We certainly encourage it, but it is an optional time. And if it's optional, that puts the pressure on the presenters for us to come up with content and to make it valuable enough that our team is going to show up. Well, hello and welcome to the J. Sterling Hughes Show, where we share how we have built our family law practice from 0 to 25 attorneys and over $15 million in revenue, all in the past 10 years. And my purpose here is to document what's working and what's not working, with hopes that you can take that and you can recontextualize that for your practice and shorten your success curve. My name is Jeff Hughes and I'm your host. And today we're talking about one of the most successful culture building tools in our firm. It's something that we use not only to build our culture, but to sustain it, to streamline communication and provide a little bit of levity in a given week. And it's called the summons. And so in today's podcast, I'm going to walk you through how we develop the summons, what it is, what's contained in it, what is the agenda like, what's the purpose, how has the team responded. And then at the end, I'm actually going to show you yesterday's summons, and you're going to get a raw summons from our firm. Okay, so I didn't tell anyone on the team that I was recording this for purposes of sharing it with you all, but that's what I'm going to do, because I want you all to get a sense for what this actually is, because there's something here for every firm that they can take and use to build and strengthen your culture, which is obviously vital to any organization, is having a real healthy culture. And this is a tool that we use to great effect here at Sterling Lawyers. So let me walk you through it and share it with you. So first off, we had a problem, and that is this: we were growing quickly and our team was no longer in one physical location. In fact, when we developed this, we had teammates in multiple states and 3 different countries. And we have offices in Wisconsin and Illinois, and we have 4 central offices and 24 satellite offices. And we just had teammates everywhere. And as you know how it is with lawyers, you're in court some days a lot, some weeks a lot, in and out multiple times in a day. People are coming and going, meeting with clients at different locations, all of that stuff. And we were kind of desperate to find a way that we can at least have a touch point with our team on a semi-regular basis. And so we did things twice a year, but that wasn't working great, because obviously you got months in between these touch points. And so we went to a quarterly type meeting where we had an all hands meeting, and that was still 90 days apart. And then we saw something that worked really well in another company in a totally unrelated field. In fact, it was someone on our board, and he sent us a recording of one of their weekly touch points, and we loved it. So we decided to adopt it for our practice. And so initially we started off by trying to think through when we wanted to do it, and what we ultimately settled on was that it should be on a Tuesday, which is kind of center of the week. You don't have the Monday hangover, you don't have the Labor Day and Memorial Day sort of stuff, like making us have to move the meeting. So we picked Tuesdays. We picked the lunch hour from 12:30 to 1. So that was the initial time frame that we thought would work the best for the most people's schedules, especially for lawyers, as they're like coming back from court, from morning court, and leaving for the afternoon. Usually that starts about 1:30 for most court appearances. So that would give us time to have the meeting. They could get in their car and they could take off and get to court, or they can remote in. That would be another, obviously, option for everyone. So we voted on it. We voted on multiple names, and all legal sounding, kind of clever names for a law firm. We settled on the summons. That was by far and away the winner. And initially we started with a weekly meeting, meaning we had it every single week. And we did that for about a year. And I really tenaciously held on to the idea that it should be weekly. But as we got through a whole year's worth of content and stuff, we found that there were spotty weeks in there that just were not content rich. They weren't really fun. They were kind of like routine. And I was afraid, in fact, my teammates were more afraid that we would start to lose people and lose their interest. So I gave in and we went to an every other week cadence, and that has worked way better because it allows us to condense our content and make these half-hour chunks of time the most valuable for our team. And here is the absolute rule number 1 for our summons, is that it needs to be light, it needs to be fun, it needs to be something that entices our team to show up, because we do not make it required. We make attendance optional. We don't demand it. We certainly encourage it, but it is an optional time. And if it's optional, that puts the pressure on the presenters for us to come up with content and to make it valuable enough that our team is going to show up. And because it's over the lunch hour, it's very casual. Generally, our teams that are together are all watching this on a big screen around a conference room table as they're eating, as they're cutting up and joking and coming in and out on their phone, all that sort of stuff. So it's a very casual type atmosphere. Certainly it's remote. So we have teammates that are remoting in from all over our firm, obviously from different countries, from Philippines, from Mexico. The attendance is really high. So we've got about 75 teammates or so today. And any given Tuesday, we'll have 60 plus people on our call. And I always ask that everyone turns on their camera, even if they're washing their dishes or whatever's going on in the background. We love to see each other. I think that seeing each other's faces promotes connection. There's something neurologically that happens whenever you can see a teammate's face, even if they're on a little tiny box among many other boxes on your screen. So that's what we do. And we use Google Meet, which is obviously very much like Zoom and other different solutions, but that works really well for us. And if you look at my screen when we're in one of our summons, you'll see 40 boxes open with people doing different things. And it's a very, very fun kind of energetic type atmosphere. There's all of these little features where you can applaud and do all these things. That's constantly going off during the course of our half-hour summons. So how do we do it? How does it work? One is we have multiple hosts. It's not always me. It's not always our president, Jeff Curlin. Sometimes it's one of the managing partners, Holly or Katie. It could be anyone else in the firm, really. And we've had many different hosts that have hosted things. My assistant, Rain, she's the one that puts the agenda together every week. She builds the deck, and that's what we work off of. We have an editor, Lou, that does a lot of our video editing that is added to this for birthdays, anniversaries, and so forth. So with respect to our agenda, we always start with a shout out. So a shout out, it is a praise, it's a high five from one teammate to another. And generally we'll get anywhere from 4 to 7 or 8 different people coming on and shouting out a teammate for something they did to help them that particular week or whatever. And those are just super fun. They're encouraging, they're uplifting, teammates love them. Even if it's not about you, it's about one teammate praising another teammate's hard work. So we have that. Once a month, we have birthdays and anniversaries. So anyone who has a birthday in that month or a work anniversary in that month, we'll celebrate them in a video with some pictures of them. We usually close with what we call Sterling Jeopardy. And that's where one teammate gives 4 or 5 clues about another teammate and you need to guess who it is. And that's always kind of fun because you hear about what teammates are doing and some of the crazy things that they use to identify themselves. It's just really, really fun to hear some of the unique factoids about each other. And then we try to have something every week that is fun, like a human interest component of the particular week. We recently just finished up what we call the joke off. And that's where we had everyone who wanted to submit a joke, a video with them holding their phone, telling a joke, and then we stitched those together. And we had a contest every week of who told the best joke. And we set it up kind of like the brackets for like March Madness. And it went from, we had 40 or 50 participants, and it kept every week working its way down till we got to a final 4 and then a final 2. And then we had our joke off a few weeks ago. We had prizes throughout the whole process. Every time you won, you got a little better prize than the last time you won, that sort of thing. We have one powerhouse joke teller in our firm. Her name is Stacy, and she's won many of the years in the past, and this year she got into the championship yet again, but she was beat by Jerson, one of our teammates over in the Philippines. It was just a really, really cool time. It came down right to the wire, just with I think Jerson won by 2 votes or something like that. So now that the joke off's over, we're adding some different features to it. Where we've got something called Around the World, where you take a picture of yourself, or you have a picture of yourself in front of a landmark and you guess the landmark, or you share something from a place you visited or something like that. We're having a cooking showdown, and I think that's going to be more recipe oriented. We have a show and tell coming up where someone can, and whoever that's going to be presenting that week can pick kind of which one they want to do, where you can talk about a hobby or an interest. We had a pet show and tell one time that lasted for about, 4 or 5 months, where teammates would come on, announce their pet. We had birds, we have, of course, cats and dogs and that sort of stuff. So it was really cool time to see each other's pets and so forth. We have a talent show if you want to do a talent show, if you got a real crazy talent, or you just want to give a book or a movie recommendation, that certainly works as well. So we try to make sure there's something fun about each other that you can get to know your teammates in our summons every week. Of course, it's a time that we use to make announcements. We don't go too deep. It's not too heavy on the information. We don't want to take away from the lightness. We want to keep it centered around that, but it's certainly a good time for us to make announcements. We'll have teammates present on business initiative. We'll have teammates present on their team, kind of the state of their particular team, and they'll talk about their team, what they're doing, introduce their teammates and that sort of stuff. Our CFO will a lot of times share financial information or important metrics that we're chasing. Occasionally we'll do a Q&A on a topic, but those are generally 10 to 15 minutes at most of the summons. The rest of it's centered on human interest, fun stuff. Of course, it varies. So we'll have some weeks where we have a really important topic, usually once or twice a year, where we'll do a shout out and then we'll go right into the heavier kind of business oriented topic that we want to present to everyone when we're all together, and we'll present on that. So we also have a vivid vision in our practice, and sometimes we'll take a component of our vivid vision and we'll highlight that and talk about that. So we have another tool that we use for business announcement oriented stuff that's written, that comes out every Friday, called a practice brief. That's really dry, kind of very kind of facts, just the facts sort of stuff. And it's in written PDF format. So, but the summons itself, a mixture of all of those things. And that's usually what happens in our agenda there. So I'm going to close here with showing you our summons from Tuesday, August the 6th. And this is a very typical type summons. It's not heavy, but you're going to get to see how we do it, how it works, and I hope that adds value to you. And it certainly is fun for us to do. And we just love the whole process of seeing each other every other week. So hello, everyone. Anybody have any good words of encouragement today to start us off? If not, we'll go right to shout outs, and those are always encouraging. All right, shout out time it is. So I've got Angela, Kelly, Danielle, Natalie, Jessica, Holly, Jordan, and then we're going to do birthdays, anniversaries, an AI update from Jeff, and then we have Sterling Jeopardy today. So it's a fairly compact schedule. Usually that won't take all 30 minutes, but we'll see. So Angela, you're up to bat.
All righty. I wanted to give a shout out to our newest team member, Echo. He helped me with the tech download issue and really knows his stuff. Very friendly and really quick to reply. Thanks so much, Echo, for your help.
You're welcome, Angela. Thank you as well. I'm quite shocked because this is the first time I received this kind of compliment. So thank you so much, Angela. By the way, my name is Echo. If you have any issues with your tools or with your equipments, don't hesitate to create a ticket on support tab in Salesforce. So we are always happy to help and assist you together with Nathan.
Thank you, Echo. Hey, if you can, everybody, if you can turn your camera on, that would be great. There are a lot of no cameras on, and that bums me out and makes me so sad because I want to see your faces. Look at that. Oh my goodness, look at those beautiful people. Sweet. So it's okay to be doing something else. No one's judging you, but we do want your camera on if it's possible to do that. So Kelly.
All right. My shout out is to Nate. He's been doing a lot of work with Echo. It's really hard to do your own job and train someone to do theirs. So just shout out to Nate for working through that, and Echo's been killing it. So
my shout out is for Natalie and Olivia for holding down the fort with my stuff while I was on vacation. So I appreciate you girls. Love you so much.
My shout out is also to Olivia, just for generally being amazing and always being willing to take things on. I appreciate that. I'm also doing Jessica's. She has a call, on a call with a client, but her shout out is to Ryan on collection. She's gotten over 50,000 for the month.
Ooh, wow. For the month of August, or was that July?
I have no idea.
It was for July.
Yeah.
July.
That was a trick question. Already, so I just kind of went with that. Holly Mullen, I see you.
Am I up? I thought I was after Jessica. I'll go.
I think Natalie did Jessica's, so.
Okay, sorry. So I have a shout out for Robin and Jeff Curlin, and really Robin's whole team. I feel like they did such a good job recruiting great talent for our summer associate, or I should say law clerk program, and then also some new associates for Illinois and Fox. And I think that's really hard. I don't think it's easy to find the perfect fit for our firm, but I think this summer has shown like that they've been able to just provide for us. And look, we have Emily and Lindsay here in Milwaukee today. So Emily's visiting our team from Fox, and Lindsay has just been a wonderful asset here in Milwaukee all summer. And I know that several regions have extended offers to, the clerks to stay on for their third year during the school year. So I think, I just wanted to call that out because it's not easy finding great talent, and Robin's been doing that for us. So thank you.
Thanks, Holly. Believe it's my turn. I also have a shout out for Robin. I had my first annual check-in with her last week, and I just really appreciate her taking the time to do that and making sure that I have the tools that I need to be successful in my role. And she's just like has the best vibes and best energy ever. So I love just being able to sit with her. So that was a plus too. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you, Jordan.
I have never seen Robin not rock the vibes. She's always vibing. So I love that.
Agreed.
All right, I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to do birthdays and anniversaries here. Happy birthday, happy anniversary to you all. I believe we have AI update. Jeff, do you want to run the deck, or would you like me to?
Sure, I can do it.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing. There you go.
Thank you, sir. So
Hey, before you start, let me just make a real quick little comment on AI, everybody. So obviously we do this probably every month or so. And I just want to reiterate to everyone, we do it because it's important that we have an awareness and that we keep the conversation up around AI, because even though we don't hear about it as much as we used to, it is still a very big deal that is only going to get bigger. So that's why we invest this time, this precious time when we're all together, to just remind us, do what you have to do to learn AI tools, because they will be a part of all of our daily activities as we go forward, especially over time as these tools get easier to use. So, Jeff.
Perfect. Thanks. I'm going to go over a couple of things related to Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which came out like a month or two ago, I want to say. So we're a little bit behind on that. It's absolutely incredible. You can do some crazy stuff with it. Some of this will be like work related, but some of it's just to showcase the functionality. So Claude 3.5 Sonnet is through Anthropic, which is an offshoot of OpenAI a couple of years ago. Let me share the presentation here. It differs in one major way from ChatGPT, which is it has something called artifacts now, which opens up a side panel that shows you a preview of what it's working on instead of everything being in line in the conversation. I also wanted to do like I've gotten feedback that people are looking for a little bit more instruction on these, so I'm providing some of that as well today. One of the great things that Claude now has is a prompt generator. For those of you who don't want to get good at writing prompts, guess what? You don't have to anymore. So if you go into Claude and you go to the API console in the lower left, you'll get taken to a different screen. And there'll be an option for generate a prompt, and you can just write in what it is that you want to prompt. And this is really great for, let me say, for reusable prompts, ones that you want to use over and over again. So I want to write a position statement for mediations and pretrial submissions. I did this with a pretrial position statement, and I'll tell you that I spent 45 minutes, I think, typing in all the information about my client and the positions and things like that. And it came out with a draft that I almost didn't need to modify. I mean, it would have taken me 3 or 4 hours to write this thing. So 45 minutes of working on the front end, it felt like a lot, but it really wasn't. So after you hit generate prompt, it's going to give you something that looks like this. And I'll pause for a second. These double curly braces that you see, where it says example statements, those are variables that you can input. So you can just copy this prompt, save it somewhere, and then reuse it. And then you're going to click this little, I think I can annotate here, this little guy, arrow, which will allow you to update the variables in the prompt instead of having to find the appropriate place. One of the things that Claude does really, really well is use of these XML tags, which is where you see, need to get back to annotating here. This little guy looks like this, little guy looks like this. And what that does is organizes the prompt in a really reliable way. So we've talked before about not making prompt too short, not too long, because then you can't tell what it's supposed to focus on. Guess what? This solves that problem. You want to put in examples and you don't want it to get confused. Let's say you have a lot of examples. Position statements are pretty long. So you can put those in example position statements. I made 3 different ones, and I'm just going to paste in those examples on the right panel here. And then there's a spot for the client details and the case facts and the issues and the positions on those issues. And you'd fill those in and hit generate to get your finished product. And I'll pause for a moment to say examples in my conversations with people who have asked for help because they're not getting the outputs that they want. Examples are like really, really helpful. That's worth its weight in gold. If you're going to commit time, it's go find some examples of stuff that you want it to look like in terms of your tone, your verbiage, your style, the length, the structure. Give it those examples and say, follow those examples, follow the style that you see in those examples, and it'll do a great job of that. Claude in particular does a much better job at writing in a way that sounds like a human than GPT ever has. And that might change. We might be here in September, October, and GPT-5 is out. We might be here in September, October, and Claude 3.5 Opus, their next premium model is out, and things will change again. I'm not saying change everything that you do or everybody quit GPT and go over to Claude. It is powerful for writing though. And I think people like Stacy had told me they only use, when they're writing something, they only are using Claude because it's just that much better. I had to go over to GPT to get information about this client and got that and then pasted that in. And so that's how you can get really reliable performance type output that you can use over and over again, and a way you can keep the prompt organized so it's not getting confused by all the additional context you're putting in. What you're saying is, this is an example, don't look at this yet, right? And then down at the end of the instructions, it's saying reference those examples for style. Then it goes back and looks at those. So on the back end, how the model is actually working, it's really good. This is an example I stole from the internet of ways you can use Claude. So they're loading in like shareholder information, and you'll watch it analyze it, and then it's going to make an artifact with an interactive way to look at that information. So you can do this, like that was a couple of minutes, and no special knowledge is required to do this. And I have a share. Used it a bunch. I made an interactive dashboard for like our KPIs, like our dashboard metrics. And it's just kind of stuff that I do for fun because everyone knows I'm a nerd about this stuff. This is just something I made in a few minutes before the summons today. That's just going to be a visualization of like some bouncing balls and some adjustable gravity, adjustable bounciness. I don't know why this thing keeps popping up. Oh my goodness. Okay. So it's fun. The classic example everyone uses, they make like a snake game. I wanted to make something stupid for my wedding, so I made a chatbot. You can say like, when is the wedding? And then like, this is a nice visual. This wasn't off the shelf. I just made this. And I just kept saying, make it better than that. And so it's super sassy and RSVP. Okay, Bart Simpson bringing 500,000 people. Let's see if it does it. Well, this should be interesting. It says, last time I did that, it told me, nice try, Bart, how many people are actually coming. And I know a lot of people have concern. Yes, Frank from Father of the Bride have concerns about confidentiality and security. One of the things that I wanted to solve was that problem exactly. So I spent probably a couple hours to develop like an app for transcription. So if you want, slideshow, there we go. I don't know why that's full screening on me, but if you can see this, just an app that runs on your computer that transcribes what you say. It doesn't store the audio anywhere. It doesn't send it to the internet. It's just transcribing your whatever you're saying, and then there's options to clear it or save it as a file. You can summarize it, or you can copy it to your clipboard. And this did not take all that long. You can really develop solutions to any problem you're facing with relative ease. Some things are harder to do than others, but it's sort of open season on any problem you want to solve in your workflows. If you don't like sending stuff to large language model like companies like OpenAI or ChatGPT, you don't have to do that. You can fix it by doing something locally, and that used to require probably like a degree in computer science. You don't need it anymore. So it's really exciting stuff. I've had a lot of fun trying out different things, and seeing the use cases that y'all have come up with lately have been really exciting. So that's all I got for today. I'll pass it back to you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. Any questions from anybody? All right, hearing nothing. Before we do Sterling Jeopardy, Rain has an announcement around the segments, the fun segments for the summons. So Rain, you did a survey last week or 2 weeks ago, and you got some results. You want to talk about that?
Yep. So thank you to everyone who participated in the survey we sent out from the last summons. We had a fantastic turnout with about 48 responses. And starting August 20th, we'll begin our new series of fun segments. So to spice things up, we will have each presenter choose whatever you want to do from our survey options. Okay. And then I'll be sending an email after the summons for more details, but you can also send me a message if you want to be put on the schedule, because the plot twist is whoever just presented, if no one volunteers, will get to call the next participant. And then to show us how it's done, I have roped in our very own Mr. Jeff Hughes. He will take the stage on the 20th and will surprise us with his choice. So I hope everyone can participate.
So Rain, I think you had 6 or 7 different things to choose from, right? Do you want to just remind us real quick what those were?
Yep. We have show and tell hobbies or interest edition, where you can share something about your hobbies and interest outside of work. Cooking showdown. Some of you guys picked this also. You can share a quick recipe or any cooking tip. It can be presented live or pre-recorded. Book or movie recommendations, to share your favorite book or movie and why you like them. Around the World had the most responses, where you can share interesting facts, photos, or experiences from places you have visited or lived in, so we can learn about different cultures and travel experiences. Guess the landmark, which must include you in the photo, would be sharing pictures of yourself for famous landmarks that you have been in. And some of you guys also picked Got Talent, where you can showcase your talents, such as singing, playing an instrument, or any special skill you have.
And do you get any extra points if you totally incorporate AI into your presentation? Because I can do the landmark one could be really open to AI abuse, so that would be fun. All right, any questions for Rain? Nothing there. Okay, cool. Lindsay, I think you've got Sterling Jeopardy today.
Wait, I have a quick question.
Go for it.
When is the next joke off?
Are you bitter about losing?
I'm not bitter about losing. I'm just prepared.
I would say that's TBD, Stacy. 2025, probably.
Perfect. I'm ready.
Get ready. Lindsay, are you with us?
Hi everyone. I'm the law clerk at Menominee Falls. So today we're doing Jeopardy. And as always, I'm going to give a couple of clues, and the first person to send in the correct answer will be the winner. So here we go. The first one, I was the captain of the basketball team in high school.
I didn't play basketball myself.
Okay. I joined ROTC when I was a college freshman. Okay. Archery is the only sport that made me a varsity player.
Is that a sport?
It's in the Olympics.
Oh, okay. Well, so is shooting, which doesn't seem like a sport to me.
The next one is I write songs.
Ellen. Oh, good guess.
Okay. And the last one was my first job was a radio jockey.
No one was a giveaway, but no one's getting it.
Oh,
there we have a winner, Jordan.
Is it Sophia?
Yep.
Jordan, good job. That was a good one. Thank you, Lindsay. We got all the way to the end on those clues. Those are strong.
Lindsay, did you say it radio jockey like that because you don't know what a radio jockey is because you're too young?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
I'm not sure she knows what a radio is, Jeff. That's such old school stuff, man.
Is anyone going to explain what a radio jockey is, though?
Natalie, right home. Call mom and dad. My first job offer when I graduated from college was to read the news on an overnight radio show from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. for $2.95 an hour.
Oh man, that sounds like a riveting job. How boring.
Yeah, that's
Man.
pretty good for a college degree, right? $2.95.
No comment on that.
Nobody has words. I just blew everybody away.
Responding to that was fraught with a lot of danger, Kim. I wouldn't go there.
I'll try. Kim, my first job offer that I got out of law school was to work for free.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Happy Summons Day. See you all again in a couple weeks. I hope that's helpful to you, and I hope that you have a wonderful week yourself.